Okay, year 8. So this is our fifth lesson about percentages. Today we are going to talk about cost price, markup, and retail price from a business point of view. So you know that when people do business, they want to earn money. How could they achieve that? How could they make profits out of a business? So you need to know some terms, okay? But before that, can we go back to do some consolidation of our previous knowledge? Alright, so there are four questions here. Okay? Let me show you the first three, the last one. Okay? So you might pause the video now and try to do them, and then you need to see if you got all of them correct. If you don't, then possibly you need to go back to watch some of our previous videos. So this is lesson 5. You need to look for question 4 and lesson 4 and lesson 3, right? Okay, so I'm going to give you please give yourself some time to do it. Okay, let's have a look. Alright, so the first question, hundreds increased by 20. So first of all, you need to find the increase. So the increase will be 20% of that 100. So it's 20% times 100. You could use calculator, or you could just calculate by heart, because it's not that difficult, right? So it's 20. New value means after the increase, what's the new value? New value should be the original value plus the increase, which will be 120. The retail price before GST. Okay, so remember that GST 10% of the pre-GST price. So that pre-GST price is $30. So it's 10% of that's $30. So 10% of 30, that's $3. Okay, so GST included price will be 30% plus 3, so that's 33. And so GST will be $3. Price will be $33. Alright. Okay, so and question 3. Okay, so the number of confirmed cases of COVID-19 in a city was 10 last month. Okay, it's 10 last month. It is increased by 30% this month. Okay, find the number of confirmed cases this month. Okay, so increased by 30%. So you need to find the increase in cases, right? So the 30% of 10, so it is 3, right? Number of confirmed cases then becomes 10 plus 3 is 13, right? That will be do it. Alright, so decreased, so number 4, decreased by 300 by 10%, so it's a decrease, right? And find the new value. Okay, so the interesting thing is here is without using calculator. Can we do it without using calculator? Remember, whenever it's 10% or a multiple of 10% or 5%, we could do it without calculator. Okay, because 10% of 300, just remember just 0.1 times 300. You just remove 1 0 from the 300, become 30. So new value, because it's a decrease, so you need to take have that 300 taken away by 30, right? So it becomes 270, right? Okay, so that's our previous knowledge as a consolidation. Right now, so let's go to today's new content. So it's about cost, markup, and retail price. So if you understand how people do business, normally they bought something at a lower price and try to sell them at a higher price, right? So that the difference in two prices will make a profit. Okay, so first of all, we need to understand the cost price. So cost price is the price that a retailer or a business they pay for the goods. All right, then they need to do a markup. Markup means they increase the price by certain percentage or by certain amount. Okay, so make the price higher than the cost price. So that's the price for them to sell the product. It's called retail price. Okay, so there are three terms here: cost, markup, and retail. All right, and the cost price is the price which is lower, okay, and paid by the business, which enable them to have the goods for them to sell. Okay, so the markup is the amount of money or percentage of money which they added to the cost price, so make the things more expensive, so they could sell it at a higher price. The difference is what we call a profit. Okay. All right. So there are many formula to do it, but all you need to understand is the very central idea is that markup percentage or markup is just like a concept of percentage increase. Okay, it's just equivalent to percentage of increase. Okay, still remember how to do the percentage increase, like what we've done the first question. When 100 is increased by 20%, okay, how to find the new value. So but now we just give some name for those numbers. For example, in this case, 100 would be the cost price, and the new value would be the retail price, and 20% would be the markup percentage. Okay, so everything would be the same. For example, if you got if an item costs a business $10 and then retail it for $15, so they sell it for $15 when but they bought it back with $10, right? So the markup of these items $5. So from $10 to $15, they add $5 to the price. So that's $5 what we call markup. Okay, and so the first relation you need to understand is that retail price is the cost price plus the markup. Okay, all right. So sometimes we are using markup percentage. Okay, for example, in last case, if you are at $5 to $10, so that's 50% of the cost price. So the markup could be markup percentage times cost price. Okay, just like what we've been doing here, 20% of 100. Okay, it's just a percentage of the markup times the original price, which is the cost price. Okay, and also sometimes we have a markup factor times cost price. I'm going to go into detail through the examples, right? So there are a few relations we need to understand. Okay, let's see the first example. Okay, let's ignore that box. We focus on the left hand side, right? So the cost price of a handbag is $10. It's marked up by 80%. Find the markup and the retail price. Okay, so it's simple, right? So the markup means the amount of money you added to the cost price. Okay, so it's called marked up by 80%. Okay, so that markup is 80% of $10. $10 is cost price, so 80% of $10 is $8. So that means markup is $8. Okay, that's how we calculate the markup. And how could you find the retail price? Okay, so the retail price will be the cost price plus the markup. Okay, cost price is $10. You plus the markup, which is 8, it becomes $18. So does everything look very similar to what we have learned in percentage of increase? It's actually essentially the same. Okay, so that's markup percentage, just percentage of increase on the cost price. Okay, the retail price is just the new value after the increase. All right, so that's one way to do it. The other way, we can find the markup retail price first and then find the markup. Okay, the way is like this. If the price is marked up by 80%, okay, if the marks up by 80%, then what we call the markup factor. Markup factor is 80% plus 100%. So 100% is what we call the cost price, which is 100%. Okay, 80% is the increase. So now it's 180% of the original cost price. Okay, so 180% when you write into decimal number is 1.8. So that's what we call markup factor. Okay, so when you find the retail price, you could just use 1.8 times the cost price. Okay, so we are using this formula: retail price equals markup factor times cost price. Okay, so exactly what happens here. You got markup factor times the retail price, which is times the cost price, which is 10. So it becomes $18. Okay, so you see the answer are the same for retail price. So how could we find the markup? You could use the final retail price to take away what? To take away the cost price, and the difference will be the markup. So both ways can help you to get both the retail price and markup. Okay, you just choose one way to do it, but you need to understand both ways, right? Okay, because in the examination sometimes they are going to give you markup factor as well, so you need to understand how to use it. Okay, so let's have a look at the second question. So you need to get used to the situation. Again, a businessman bought some herbs. Okay, so when a businessman brought some herbs from India, okay, at a cost of $12 per box. So he bought it at $12 per box. Okay, so why did he bought it? For a business point of view, he would like to make a profit. Okay, won't he? Okay, so how could he make a profit? He must sell it at a higher price. That would be the retail price, right? So he need to mark up the price. By certain percentage. So for example, he need to mark up the price by 120%. Okay, then you need to find the markup and the retail price. Okay, right? Okay, so first let's find the markup. How much is the markup? How much value? How much you added to that cost price? Okay, so remember that. Okay, the markup will be percentage of markup times the cost price, right? The cost price is 12. Okay, or you might write this as well, of $12. So that means you use 120% times 12, and then of course you can use your calculator. Okay, after using that calculator, you will have 14.4. So that will be the markup. Okay, so how could we find the retail price? Okay, retail price would be the cost price, $12 plus the markup. Okay, so that means the retail price 26.4. So when you compare the retail price with the cost price, you see the retail price much higher than the cost price. But that's natural because someone goes to India to buy something and he wants to make money out of it. That's very natural things to do, right? Okay, so let's say that's one way to do it. Okay, so you say the markup is $14.34 and the retail price now, okay, is $26.4. Okay, so let me show you another way to do it. Another way is, first we need to find the markup factor. So the markup factor is 100%, which is representing the cost price. You mark up by 120, so it becomes 220%. Okay, and so when you change that to decimal numbers, 2.2. So the retail price will be that markup factor times the cost price, which is $12, isn't it? Okay, so you will still get that's 26.4. Okay, then you could find the markup by using retail price to take away the cost price, which is now 14.4. So you see the answer are great. So you see that different approach. So right, so I would like you to learn the first approach, which is more similar to the percentage increase. Okay, right, so question 3, which is Big W imported some vacuum cleaners at a cost price $50 each from China. Okay, so it's made in China. Alright, so it's $50 made in China. Okay, but then they marks the price up by 70%, right? Okay, because the Big W would like to make a profit. Find the markup and the retail price. Alright, so what are you going to do? First, you need to find the markup. So the markup again would be the cost price. So here's the cost price. Okay, the cost price will be 50, so 70% of the markup percentage of that's $50. So it would be times 50, the $35. Okay, so the retail price just add them. Got this one. Okay. $35 and the retail price is $85. Okay, that's it. Alright, so that's question 3. Okay, let's go to another one. Okay, so here's a table for different kinds of goods, and we have different kinds of percentage markup and the cost price of each type of goods, and you need to find the markup and also the retail price. Alright, so let me do the first one for you. Apples, the cost price $3.30 and the percentage markup is 80%. So that's what you're going to do. So you will get 3.04. The retail price will be the cost price plus that markup. Okay, so that will be the answer. Alright, okay, so can you do the rest of them as an exercise? Right, so we're going to track the answer after that. Okay, so here's the answer. Please track your answer. Right, okay, so if you got all this correct, then you understand how to use the formula, but you need to apply the formula for different situations. The question might be different in terms of how do they formulate different quantity, like cost price, like markup percentage, and the retail price. Okay, you need to be careful. Alright, so the next thing let's have a bit of revision on GST. Still remember GST? GST means goods and services tax. Okay, this is for way to have a portion of our consumption going to the government. All right. So the relation is well shown in this chart. So first, for a business, there's a cost price or certain thing, right? Then from this cost price to retail price, you need to add in the markup, okay? And from the retail price, because that retail price pre-GST retail price, you need to calculate and add in the GST, and it becomes the retail price. Okay, so the sequence of prices is like cost price, pre-GST retail price, and GST included retail price, and in between these prices you need to add in the markup and add in the GST. Alright, so that's the simple idea. Okay, still remember how to calculate GST. GST will be 10% of the retail price. That of course will be the pre-GST retail price. So after you get the GST, and GST included retail price will be retail price plus the GST. Alright, or if you want to get the GST included retail price, in one step you can just use 1.1, just a little bit like a markup factor. You just times 1.1 of the retail price, you can get that final price directly. Okay, so let me show you one example. Okay, a retailer bought a product for $25. So the retailer bought something, so that means from the retailer point of view, it is a cost price, right? They add a 60% markup, so of course they would like to add the price so they can make money, right? Finally, they add on the GST components. After that markup, they still need to add on the GST components. Okay, because GST is not for the retailer, it's for the government. Calculate the GST and GST included retail price. So you need to find the GST and GST included retail price. Alright. So there are two things to find. Okay. So first is you need to find for the cost price to retail price pre-GST retail price. Okay, so the cost price is $25, right? So here is the cost price. Okay, so you need to find the markup. So it's 60% of that cost price. Okay, so you got $15, and from that cost price, you add 15. So you add the markup to the cost price, so it becomes pre-GST retail price. But that pre-GST retail price is not the final retail price for the consumer. You need to times 10%, which is $4 for GST, and so GST included price is $44. So that would be consumer will pay this amount, right? Consumer. So that would be the price for the consumer to pay. Okay, so this $40 will be the income, for the retailer. Right? So that's $4 would be the tax for the government. Okay, so you see, okay, so the consumer pay $44, but $4 will go to the government. $40 will be the income for the retailer. Okay, remember that? Okay, so let's go to another one. Okay, for this one, a shop bought some chocolate at $1.5 per pack, $1.5. They mark it up by 50%. Okay, by 50%. So, and add on GST component to the final GST included retail price, calculate the amount of the markup, GST, and GST included price. So there are three things to find. So how could we find the markup? So markup should be 50% of that cost price, which is $1.5. Okay, so that means you use 50% times $1.5. Alright, so that will give you 75 cents. Okay, and then you need to find the PGST retail price, which will be $1.5 plus $2.25. Alright, and also you need to find GST. So GST will be 10% of that PGST price. Okay, so that will be 10% times this one. Okay, so this will give you, okay, and so lastly you need to find GST included price, which will be 2.25 plus 0.225, which is $2.475. Okay, so I'm not going to write the answer, but you write the final sentence, but you should know that you need to write that in the examination. Okay, so the markup will be 75 cents. Alright, GST will be 22.5 cents, and the GST included price is $2.47.5 cents. Alright, okay, so that's how we do question 6. And the last question is what we call a online trading. Okay, Sam bought a second-hand PS4 at 100. Oh, that's a pity. That's such a bargain, right? Through eBay. Okay, he then added a markup by 20% for a resale. Okay, so actually Sam is smart. She's trying to make some money. All right, calculate the GST and the GST included price. Sam is going to post on his eBay account. Okay, so what kind of price? So for the price Sam's going to post, it should include the GST, right? Okay, so you need to find the GST and GST included price. But remember that that's $100 is not the pre-GST price, because that's the cost price. So from cost price to pre-GST price, you need to add the markup, right? Okay. So I'm going to give you some time to try to think about how to formulate the whole thing, right? So you need to please pause the video now, try to do it by yourself, and we'll come back to see whether you're correct. Okay, let's see the answers, right? So first you need to find the markup, which will be 20% of $100 of the, which is the cost price. Okay, so 20% of 100 is $20. Okay, so that's the markup. Okay, the GST price would be the cost price plus the markup, which becomes $120, and GST will be 10% of that pre-GST price, which is $12 now, and GST included price, which is the final price, will be $120 plus that's $12. Okay, so that will be it. Alright, so in your notes there's only 3 questions for this practice, for this exercise. Okay, but for the next exercise there will be a lot more practice. Alright, so I would like to finish the next chapter, which is called discounts, before I give you more questions to do, right? Because discounts and markup, they are they link together, right? Okay, so see you next time. Bye bye.